Hello and welcome. My name is Mary Lou McPherson and I'm one of the National Practice Leads for the NDIS Zero Tolerance Initiative, and I'm also a member of the NDIS Practice Support Network. This film you're about to watch is part of the NDIS Code of Conduct series, which covers each of the 7 obligations. These films can be watched in sequence with opportunity for reflection and discussions in between each film. Alternatively, you can watch each film on its own if there's a particular obligation of interest, or perhaps something is happening in the workplace that needs to be addressed. It is important to be aware that some things talked about in these films might bring up certain feelings and may make you feel uncomfortable. This may be because of something you've experienced or seen in your work or personal life, and those feelings may come up today, next week, or next month. We ask that you take a moment and think about someone you trust that you can talk to if you need to discuss any of the issues covered in this film. And remember, it's okay if you need to take a break. Contact details are on your screen for Lifeline, Beyond Blue, and 1-800-RESPECT. Or you can also use your Employee Assistance Program. I'm now going to hand you over to Jessica from the NDIS Practice Support Network. The NDIS Practice Support Network comprises of skilled facilitators with a disability and people with extensive experience working in the disability sector.
Hello, my name is Jessica and I'm a member of the NDIS Practice Support Network and I live in Victoria. So let us look at what Obligation 3 of the NDIS Code of Conduct means for you. To provide supports and services in a safe and competent manner with care and skill. It is important to know how to do your job in a professional way and having the right qualifications and skills to do your job properly and safely. Take time to read and understand your organisation's policies and guidelines, and always keep accurate notes and records and work safely at all times. It's important to always be professional, like coming to work on time, not being in a bad mood, and always following the information of people's plans. NDIS providers must ensure they have adequate policies, operational procedures, and appropriate supervision for workers in place to ensure that supports and services are delivered in a safe and competent manner. For people using supports, this means support workers must only work with you if they have the skills to do the job properly and safely, and providers must train and support their staff to do the work you are paying for. People with a disability have the right to complain about the services they receive. If you have a concern about your current NDIS supports or services, it is important that you talk about it. Anyone can make a complaint about the breaches of the NDIS Code of Conduct. People with a disability, family members, friends, workers, advocates, anyone. You can make a complaint to your NDIS service provider about the problem, and you can also complain to the NDIS Commission. Workers and service providers must always listen to people with disabilities and their families. They must work together to solve problems. If the provider is unable to resolve your concern or complaint, and you believe there has been a breach of the Code of Conduct, then you should seek further support from family, a friend, or an independent advocate in making a complaint. We are going to look at a zero tolerance 2-part film that will focus on recognising restrictive practices with support worker Penny and Kim. In part 1, watch the scenario and then pause the film at the questions on your screen, using your facilitator's guide to help with discussions. When you have completed your discussions, press play and come back to me. I'll be waiting, but I might take a minute to go and play fetch with my assistant's dog, Riley.
Chemical restraint, the use of medication to control a person's behaviour, is by far the most common form of restraint experienced by people with a disability.
Sometimes medication is prescribed specifically to manage a person's behaviours. This can be an important part of a person's support plan and will involve a range of experts to assess the benefits and impacts of using medication.
Sometimes it happens other ways. This includes examples of over-medication, misuse of medication, or medication that continues to be used because it is not properly reviewed. Another example is where medication has been used to suppress menstruation in women with disabilities without their consent. This is a significant chemical restraint because it can have health implications in addition to how the person feels.
Medication is something that needs to be taken seriously.
Medications can interact with each other and have unintended effects. It is important to monitor this and to make sure that medications are given at the correct time.
Tablets make me sleepy.
I often hear from disability support workers that they feel that they have no control or influence over the medication, even for the people who they might work with for a long time.
As a support worker, you have the right to ask what medication is being given to people and ask about the possible side effects.
So you have the responsibility to know things.
Let's look at an example.
Hang on, Kim. I'm just cleaning up. I'm busy, Kim. Keep the noise down. Well, the neighbours are going to complain. Thanks a lot. Yeah, hi. Hi, yeah. Nah, Kim's really unsettled tonight. He's just acting up. I'm way behind on my cleaning and he's just breaking everything. Yeah, that's Kim. Really? They're for sleep as well? But he's not due for his meds until 9 p.m. Okay, fair enough. Can't hurt if it's his usual meds.
Hello, welcome back. How did you go with those discussions? We are going to play part 2, which features people with a disability, support workers, and practice leaders talking about chemical restraint.
I don't think it's okay to give him the pill.
Medication is something that needs to be taken seriously, so the prescribed time is the necessary time to use the medication for a lot of reasons.
That's a really tough one, isn't it? I mean, should not be happening. I think there's large issues like the culture of the house. So if the culture is about finishing the jobs, not engaging with the people.
And it's about, who are you doing this for? Are you doing this for yourself or are you doing this for them?
But is she there to clean or is she there to look after the client?
The only way that he can talk to people with his iPad, and she knocked it out with him work as a vacuum cleaner.
It's really not up to Penny or the person who she's talking to as to when that medication should be given.
I've seen people on medication that have antidepressants, antipsychotics, mood stabilisers, hypnotics, benzodiazepines, and they don't have a mental health diagnosis. This is about managing behaviour.
If someone gave me tablets, I would say why.
There may be times when mum may need to use some form of medication in terms of for sleep for some reason, but a support worker has no right, or in fact it would be a total breach of their role to do anything other than what has been prescribed by a practitioner.
Has she tried communicating with him with a communication board or the necessary resource available to communicate with him.
In what world is it okay to refer to someone who's trying to express something or communicate something that they're acting up? We would often say people do the best they can with the skills they've got, and if that is the way that this person has to communicate a message, then we have a responsibility as support workers to see it that way. If we're really talking about zero tolerance, it should also be around that support worker feeling comfortable questioning the person on the phone, why would I do that?
Because even if you're doing a job, you can do it together. You know, it might be even just standing close to someone and having a bit of a joke with them while you finish something off. You can have a lot of fun doing things together. You don't have to make someone go to sleep.
It is important that support workers know that the misuse of medication is a serious breach of the NDIS Code of Conduct. As a support worker, you have the right to ask what medication is being given to people and ask about the possible side effects. You have a responsibility to know these things, and organisations need to create a culture that supports workers to feel comfortable and ask why. That brings us to the end of Obligation 3. Before I go, I'd just like to say that it is important that we work together to uphold the rights and dignity of people with a disability. We all deserve respect, safety, quality care, and support. Communication and respect are the key to making sure that everyone gets the support that they deserve.